morning, welcome to day 45 of my Munros challenge. Today I'm walking route number 44. I'm parked on the road between Mullach and Torridon, underneath Leith, which are two Munros, Spidean Leith, which is the peak of the grey corrie, and Mullach and Rathain, which is the summit of the pulley. It's a short day, but it's extremely steep and extremely dangerous. The pinnacles to climb over, so it takes quite a while. It's only about 6 miles, I believe, but it could take up to 8 hours. Very technical. Now the guidebook says it's incredibly steep from the start, and you can't even believe that there's a path where we're heading, so I'll show you where we're heading. There we go, we're heading straight up there. And I agree with the guidebook, I can't believe there's a path up there. So the path is quite well maintained, running up the east side of the burn. It is steep, not overly steep, but I would imagine it's going to get steeper. It does make its height quite quickly. You can see the car park down below in the valley. I'm not sure you're getting the severity of the slope, but the path is quite steep. I mean, I've been up steeper, don't get me wrong. It's not ridiculously steep, but it is steep. But it does have various obstacles to climb over as well. So I think the top's up there in the cloud. I was hoping for it to be clear. Wow. That was absolutely ridiculously steep. That was proper scrambling, cliffs to climb up, hands, feet, knees, you name it. I used it to get up there. Wow, so we've got to try and get over there now. So this is Stub Corrie Leith Moor. See where we've come from. This isn't the Munros, although it's high enough, it doesn't meet the criteria. Obviously the drop down isn't sufficient enough, but the first Munros up there in the clouds. I have to say, there's been more scrambling and climbing on this Munros than any other I've done so far. It's just relentless, really, the climbing. Wow, that was amazing. That's just like ridiculous. Here we are, the top, Spidean Corrie Leith. Yes, it has been so rocky and scrambly, and it's been honestly the hardest probably one I've climbed, in terms of having to climb up cliffs and big rocks, and it's amazing. I wish I'd got a view. It's been stunning. The guidebook suggests descending southwest of the top, so as there's no visibility, that's pretty much the direction I'm heading in. So the guidebook's right, eh? I've picked up a faint path going down the scree. I'm heading over there to the pinnacles. As you can see, they're just appearing, and let's see how steep it is that I'm coming down. It is relentlessly steep. Wow. So here we are, start of the pinnacles. It's amazing, it's a steep drop. So this is where I've come from. Up there, it's amazingly steep as well. But between some of the pinnacles, now that's a bypass path, but apparently it's absolutely terrifying. It's so steep, the bypass, because you're walking along a cliff edge. It's the worst of two evils, but apparently the pinnacles are less terrifying than the bypass. So I'm going over the top and climbing over all these pinnacles. I'm not sure if you can make out, but the car park's down there. It does say in the guidebook, if you look to your left, you'll see your car looks like a Tonka toy. Oh wow. Competent scrambling skills, my ass. Look at that. Oh my god, that's coming down. Wow. This is stunning, absolutely stunning. I just need to keep taking pictures of this ridge because it's unbelievable. Wow. Good job I didn't have Stanley with me today. It said in the guidebook you need a good head for heights. Do you know I've got vertigo? So I'm on top of the last pinnacle. Wow. Oh god, my legs went to jelly then. So the last pinnacle was done. That was absolutely fantastic, even though I got vertigo. So the next bit looks quite straightforward. Nice grassy bank. A bit of a respite compared to what we've been up, I think. Shame it's in the clouds again. Not far from the top now. Unfortunately the clouds come in again. Shame about that. Today's views are supposed to be stunning as well. Out to Hebrides, Isle of Skye. Never mind. Oh, here we are. Mullach a Rathain. Apologise for the pronunciation. That's a well balanced cairn, isn't it? Somebody spent a bit of time doing that. So now we've got a very steep scree descent ahead. So there's a very distinct path S-ing its way down the scree. It wasn't 200 metres as described in the guidebook. It was only about 75 metres, but this is definitely the path. It is extremely steep. I'm just looking back up the glen, and I can just about make out the path zigzagging up just to the west side of the burn. It's very steep, very steep. So I'm back at the roadside, looking back at where we've come from. It seemed quite a long way down, that, surprising. So now it's a 2-kilometre walk back up the road to the car. Hi, welcome to my Munros Challenge day 45. Today I walk route number 44. What a route. It's Tuesday the 14th of September and I parked on the Torridon Road and Kinlochie Road. Very small minor road. Just what an amazing day. The Torridon Ridge just gets better and better. The group of 3 different climbs there are just spectacular, I have to say. This route starts extremely steeply and then gets steeper and steeper. That's all I can say. It's extremely rugged, it's extremely rocky, and it's very scrambly. Quite often you find you got sheer cliff sides, etc. to climb up. Once you get to the top of the steep ascent, as it were, you get onto the edge of the ridge line, and there are a couple of 3 not pinnacles, but rises that you've got to climb over to get to the first Munro. Indeed, I think one of them's about 960 metres. It's quite high. It just doesn't drop enough to qualify for a Munro. But eventually you do get to the top, which is, again, it's extremely difficult to get to. It's very rocky, very scrambly, very rugged. It's extremely tough day. And then once you're on the top, you've got to try and make your way off the top. You need to be careful, because I was in cloud. Now luckily I'd read the guidebook and I knew I needed to be heading in a southwest direction, but all the paths kind of indicate for you to go the other way, southeast. So you've got to be careful you take the correct path off. And again, it's extremely steep, it's extremely bouldery and rocky, and you've got to have your wits about you. It could be quite intimidating, actually. Now, I didn't get a view, but apparently the view of the pinnacles from the top is quite awe-inspiring and breathtaking, and it fills you with trepidation, apparently. So maybe I'm lucky I didn't get to see what I was about to undertake, because the pinnacles were absolutely stunning. stunning. They were breathtaking. There is an option of a bypass path apparently, but I've heard it's so extreme and remote and on the edge of the cliffside that it's actually worse than going over the pinnacles. So I decided to go over the pinnacles, which was some extremely good scrambling. Now I can't profess to be a scrambler of any description, so it's the first time I've really had to scramble, and it was tough at places, but it was extremely enjoyable. It took me back to my childhood when I used to go around the Otley Shevin and Arncliffe Crag, and used to, you know, climb as a kid around the rocks there. It was very similar to that, other than not having a kilometre drop, sheer drop to the bottom. Absolutely awesome. What can I say other than that? Very, very steep, very, very rugged, and you do need to be a reasonably competent scrambler, I would say, to get over there. And then you get over the last pinnacle and you've got a very nice grassy slope up to the last Munro, which does get a bit steeper towards the top, but it is very, very mild considering what you've just done. Now the guidebook suggested you follow the ridgeline west, I think it was, for maybe 200 metres before you drop south down a very, very steep scree. I can't have gone 75 metres before I came to a cairn and a very, very obvious path, and that was the correct path, and it's a very, very good path all the way back down to the road really. The closer to the road you get, the less steep the path gets, let's say, but it was such a nice path, no problem at all. So the day for me was 7.5 miles, and it took me 7.5 hours, but there was a lot of stopping, climbing, taking in the views. Really took me time. I suppose you could do it faster, but also you could spend a lot more time there, given that there were more views to take on. There was quite a lot of climbing, 4,378 feet of climbing. Another superb day. Oh, I forgot to name the range. I think the name is Latrig.